Good evening, Tallahassee. I am student meteorologist Zach Law here with your FSU weather update. Currently, we're seeing 96 degrees, but we're feeling pretty hot here in Tallahassee. Feels like 108 degrees out there because of this 75 dew point we have. Winds are a little bit high out there, 17 mile an hour from the west. And looking up to our north of Tallahassee, we see these severe thunderstorm warnings. Those showers should be staying above Tallahassee for most of the night, but we might see a small splash or two on the radar coming into the evening hours. And these are associated with this band of showers that are coming through. These are outflow showers caused by this line of showers through the Louisiana area that we're seeing here around the Tallahassee area. And looking at the 3-day forecast, we're seeing a 20% chance of rain for tomorrow, 20% Wednesday, 30% Thursday, and we're seeing 96, and we're going to start to cool down, but there's still going to be some humidity hanging around on Thursday. I'm going to now pass things off to Tyler.
Zach, and we're going to talk about things here in the southeast right now. Looking currently, right now we're at 83 degrees in New Orleans. As we move eastward, those temperatures start to pick up a little bit, actually a lot. Tallahassee's at 96 right now. As you move up to Charleston, it's at 90. In the interior of the southeast, those temperatures cool down a little bit, with Shreveport being at 85. As we move westward, the temperatures start to pick up again, except for San Antonio sitting at 75. They just had some showers helping cool down. Currently, our dew points are pretty high all throughout the southeast. Not quite as bad as we had at the end of last week, but still pretty far up there. El Paso sitting at 23. That's where we have a dry line right here. So west of that dry line, we're not seeing a lot of moisture, but as we move eastward, we're seeing a lot more moisture. And this is helping make it feel a lot hotter outside. The current heat index in Tallahassee right now is 108. And I can tell you, I felt that when I was walking to class today. It was hot outside. As we move towards the interior, it feels like typical summertime conditions, not too bad at feeling like 89 and feeling like 92. San Antonio feeling even better at 75. And we can see actually this high pressure system right here sitting below Tallahassee. You can see this clockwise flow. And we've had a little bit drier conditions here because the high pressure system is pretty close to us. And then we can see the winds moving here along the front as well. Pretty breezy conditions in Tallahassee at 17 miles per hour. In Brownsville, 18 miles per hour. And we can see these showers associated with the front in Atlanta, and moving down towards Houston, we're seeing some showers build up as well. But throughout most of Florida and southern Georgia and South Carolina, we're not really seeing any showers right now. Zooming into Tennessee and Kentucky, we can see that line of showers moving through London. We actually have a severe thunderstorm watch in the eastern parts of Kentucky and also southwest of Atlanta right now. Moving more towards the southwest, we see those storms building up towards the water on Corpus Christi right now. Line of storms just moved through Austin. We actually have a flash flood warning southwest of Austin, so be careful if you're in that region. Over the next 24 hours, the storms are going to continue to move eastward over here and also closer to San Antonio. But throughout most of the southeast, we're not really expecting much rain. It'll finally start to move towards Shreveport and New Orleans, but that's it for the rain. And looking at tonight, we're going to be in the mid 70s to upper 60s for most regions. And tomorrow, we're going to be in the upper 80s and mid 90s, with our hot spot being at El Paso at 99 degrees. But right now, I'm going to send things off to Jake, and he's going to give us a closer look to home.
Thanks, Tyler. And yeah, we had a couple of storms actually developing over the past couple of hours, moving from west to east across the area. And we'll see this as the radar slowly transitions here. It's about a full day radar. So see these storms moving through the Florida panhandle here. A couple of active severe thunderstorm warnings now. The storm to the northeast of Spence up in Georgia has really strengthened over the past hour or so. And we even have an active severe thunderstorm warning that includes northern Leon as well as northeastern Gadsden counties, just off to the north of Tallahassee here. So we'll zoom in a little bit on that. We see the one storm that is moving through the Bainbridge area right now. So some strong conditions moving down US Highway 84 here, as well as off to the north and east off towards Moultrie, a little bit to the north of Thomasville. Several counties getting in with the potential for some damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with a couple of these storms. Otherwise, much of the area is fairly dry here, including right here in Tallahassee. 96 degrees, mostly sunny skies out there, but of course that humidity is a big factor today. Feels like 108 degrees when you factor in that humidity, so not quite as brutal as what we were seeing last Friday, with heat index values sometimes exceeding 110. but the story remains the same here. Winds out of the west at 17 miles per hour. It's been a little bit of a southwesterly component earlier in the day as well, helping to bring in some of that Gulf moisture a little bit. So we were seeing dew points even approaching 80 earlier in the morning, but thankfully that has calmed down just a little bit here. Across much of the area, you really see where the rain's fallen. Much cooler in Camilla, Bainbridge, Mariana. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s there, but where the sun has stayed out for the entire day, it's still very hot out there. 96 in Tallahassee. Even some coastal spots like Carabel and St. Mark's are well into the 90s, with those dew points near 80 degrees along the coast, 79 in Perry, 80 in St. Mark's, and again, some of these rain-cooled spots where we have that turbulent mixing with those winds at the lower levels here. 64-degree dew point in Bainbridge, helping to mix in some of that drier air, and again, 68 in Quincy as well. And again, factor in that humidity, and it's feeling like close to 110 for a big chunk of the region. 109 heat index in St. Mark's, 108 in Carabel, as well as right here in Tallahassee. Steered by this southwesterly flow, occurring pretty strongly for a good chunk of the region. Winds 10 to 20 miles per hour have been observed in parts today. It's associated with a high pressure centered off to our south. Again, those storms moving into the area as outflow from a dying out squall line that was moving through portions of the southeast earlier on in the day. And over the next 24 hours, this trend largely stays the same. Conditions should calm down as we work through the rest of the night tonight. Just some partial cloudiness, maybe a stray shower in some spots, but tomorrow looking like a pretty similar picture. Not really too high on those rain chances. And again, the heat really sticking around. Could see some isolated thunderstorms in parts of the area. As for tonight, temperature is largely in the middle to upper 70s, partly cloudy skies sticking around for most of the area. Can't rule out a stray shower possible. And for tomorrow, again, mid-90s for highs. And again, isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon are a possibility, especially off to our west with 25 to 40% rain chances. And then for the week ahead, again, rain chances will start to build back up a little bit more towards the weekend. Temperatures dropping with that increase in cloud cover and the potential for some rainfall. Let's talk the rest of the country with Zach.
So right now, our hottest spot we're looking at, we're seeing 101 over here in Phoenix, and that's no surprise there. We always see them hitting triple digits around this time of year. But looking right here at Tallahassee, we are the next highest on the list, 96 degrees, cloudy conditions here. We're seeing some cooler conditions up towards the northwest as well. And dew points, we're seeing this dry line again. That's going to trend for most of the summertime. So we're seeing all this humid air that's pushing off the Gulf, a lot of humidity in the southeast. But over here more towards the west coast, they're not getting as much of that Gulf moisture, so they're not sitting at as high of dew points. The dry air is a lot drier there around the Rocky Mountain area. And here's our big picture look out here. Tallahassee sees the high pressure system that's hovering a little bit underneath in the Gulf, and so what that might do is it might give us a little bit of some of those sea breeze showers towards the west side of town, but towards the east they might not be seeing as much of those sea breeze showers there. We're also seeing a high pressure dominating most of the plains and a low pressure right here, and there's that dry line that we were seeing on that dew point, and we're seeing all these band of showers that are associated with this front trying to push through, and we do have some convective outlooks for those that we'll go into. So starting here more towards the northeast, we are seeing an enhanced risk over here, more towards the West Virginia area for those thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the radar and see what we're looking at. We are seeing severe thunderstorm warnings right here, or watches, sorry, and we're seeing those creep through, and as a result of the low that's hanging out over here over Michigan. And we're seeing those warnings and watches. More towards the south, that watch is going to expire at 9. More towards the north, that watch is going to expire at 10 p.m. tonight. And it looks like we have a flash flood warning over here as well. And now we're going to look at more towards the Great Lakes area around Chicago, Green Bay. They're only under a slight chance of those severe convective storms throughout the evening hours. And we'll look at the radar there, and we can see this rotation with that low pressure, and we can see some of that lightning and those bands of rains coming through, and we can expect them to continue to grow and continue to carry out through the evening hours. So now let's take a look out towards Texas, where we see a slight risk there as well. And looking at that radar, we already see some of those severe thunderstorms warning, and we can already see those starting to pop up in the area there. And now we are back over to the Chicago region because we're looking at tomorrow. Tomorrow in Chicago, we're seeing another slight risk. And here's our big picture. We can really see this rotation coming through. This is at 10 p.m. and now we're going to move on and to waking up in the morning. You can see that most of the Northeast is going to be waking up to showers, and it's just going to continue pushing off towards the Atlantic. And tonight's forecast, we're going to see 76 here in Tallahassee, mainly cloudy there. And looking at tomorrow, Phoenix is going to be hot, 105 degrees there, and we're going to see 95 with thunderstorms tomorrow. I'm going to now pass things off to the desk.
Thanks, Zach. And right now in Tallahassee, we've been seeing some dust start to build up that's moved in from the west coast of Africa.
Yeah, so you might have seen the kind of hazy conditions that we've been having across Tallahassee for the last few days or so. In other parts of the southeast, we're really seeing that. And as Tyler was just saying, that is associated with a layer of air called the Saharan air layer. And yes, it goes all the way from the Sahara Desert in northern Africa.
Yeah, and also this Sahara dust that has been moving towards Tallahassee and has been all throughout the Atlantic Ocean has been a big reason why we haven't really seen any tropical storms or anything like that developing in the Atlantic.
Yeah, so basically what happens here is you have this, obviously the dust over the Sahara Desert in northern Africa, and this is very easily picked up by the winds. And so when you have this being lifted and basically transported by this average easterly wind, east to west, that you observe in the middle levels of the atmosphere, especially in the deep tropics, this can be transported really, really far out there, even as far as the Gulf Coast of the United States. So I have family down in South Florida who were basically saying it was raining dust earlier. Not like the dust storms that you see out in the plains where you see those thunderstorms kind of lifting that up, but it's a similar concept. Very easily picked up and transported right over to the United States. And again, that dry air that you're seeing over there, again, inhibits that tropical cyclone activity.
And we've been seeing that in Tallahassee as well with the hazy conditions. Look up in the sky. I was looking at our sky cam earlier, and you can really just see the haziness in the sky. It's not really clear, even whenever the clouds aren't necessarily out.
Yeah, and personally, I'm not going to mind that. Of course, it's a bit of an air quality issue, so that is one thing to take into account. But if we can inhibit that tropical cyclone activity out in the central areas of the Atlantic, you don't really see too much going on in the eastern Atlantic this time of year before those waves really get going in July or August. But the longer that we can, of course, keep or stay without another named storm in the basin is definitely a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a give and take situation. You don't really want to see the haziness, but it's really not that bad compared to seeing like a hurricane or a tropical storm strike. I'd much rather deal with the haziness, maybe a little bit of bad air quality over that.
Yeah, still seeing the humidity at the lower levels, and well, with that, the heat and really that whole feeling of nastiness is really sticking around. So I think it's time for you to head out and break it down a little more detail with our last local forecast.
Yep, and I'm going to bring you over to the wall, and we're going to talk about the heat that we've been seeing here on the almanac. We hit a high of 97 here today, a little bit higher than average. Our low also a little bit higher than average in Tallahassee. Currently, you can kind of see the haziness in the sky right now. Not exactly clear. You can see the clouds in the background, but usually you can see the sun pretty clearly, but you can see a little bit of haziness over it. Right now, it feels like 108 outside. Let me tell you, I was outside. I could feel it. It's because of those high dew points. It's really not too comfortable in Tallahassee right now. We have some storms building up to the north of us, moving through Cypress, moving eastward right now. But currently, we're sitting at 96 in Tallahassee. We're the hot spot for the Big Bend region. More of those rain-cooled spots that saw the storms move through, such as Bainbridge and Mariana, are a little bit lower at 77 degrees. And as we move away from the coast, we start seeing Moultrie at 93, Thomasville at 93, closer to the coastline, a little bit cooler at Apalachicola, being at 88 right now. But also closer to the coastline, you're going to see those higher dew points. St. Mark's hitting a dew point of 80 and Carabel sitting at 78. And as you move northward, where the sea breeze doesn't penetrate as far in, you're not going to see as high of dew points. You can really see the spots have been cooled down by the rain here. These red and orange spots are feeling about 79 degrees right now, but the spots where we weren't getting rain, such as Tallahassee and Monticello, we're feeling way hotter outside, and it's also because we had higher dew points closer to the coastline. So a lot of things working together to make certain regions cooler, certain regions hotter. And we can see the winds moving off from the southwest, coming towards Tallahassee and Quincy at 17 miles per hour right now. A little bit breezy as we move more inland, not quite as breezy. Thomasville sitting at 6 miles per hour right now. We can see this cold front right here is associated with a lot of the storms right here and moving down towards Houston as well. This high pressure system in the center of the country has kept things relatively clear for them. And as we move up towards Minneapolis, once again, this low pressure system bringing a lot of rain for the Chicago and Minneapolis region. And looking at our next 24 hours, pretty clear. We're going to see some clouds start to build up as we get into the morning hours tomorrow. And as we move through the afternoon, we're going to have a chance of pop-up showers. Probably not anything that lasts too long. We can see something here south of Tallahassee. So plan for rain, but it might not happen. Looking at our heat index, you can see whenever we get into those morning hours, it feels a lot cooler outside, but as soon as you hit the afternoon, it starts heating up a lot. And it's not going to be quite as bad tomorrow, though, as it was today. But tonight, There's always a chance of an isolated storm here in Tallahassee, and we're going to be at 76 degrees. Tomorrow, we're getting up to 96, mostly sunny and hot. Stray storm might be possible. If you're going out golfing tomorrow, make sure to do it early because it's going to get hot pretty fast. And looking at our 7-day forecast, we're going to see those temperatures start to pick up, but the rain chances pick up towards the weekend, start to cool us down. By Monday, we're going to hit 93 degrees.